Well, hello there and good morning to you all. This now will be my review for Bleach chapter 574 entitled Death in Vision. And basically, the chapter continues from the last one, and we see Grammy and Zaraki basically starting um, their fight. Um, and the chapter is very short. It feels very short, I must say. But there are two aspects that I think that are the most important in this chapter. Besides all the fight, and we see Grammy using his powers to heal himself first. Second, then it tries to entrap Zaraki into a water case. Then he tries to drown him underground with water and inside the rock, and eventually, but Zaraki is able to free himself and continues attacking. But the two aspects that are important to withdraw from this chapter are first, near the first pages, when we have the beginning talk between Grammy and Zaraki. We have a bunch of, let's say, random Shinigamis from the Squad 11, and they kind of felt the Reiatsu of Zaraki, and then they became all confident that they will win and such. But there was one thing that was said by one of the guys that is very important, and it's that these guys say that so if the captain was already here, why we are not able to feel his Reiatsu? And that's more or less what this random Shinigami says. So why is this important? I think this is important because it kinda gave us something about the level of power that Zaraki has in this moment, or putting it on that way. If you remember when Aizen arrived or began morphing and such, he says that the souls, or when even when he was fighting against Ishin Urahara and Yoruichi, um, Ishigo basically was the only one that was able to gauge his power, his Reiatsu. Neither Urahara, Yoruichi, or Ishin were able to do it because they did not feel anything. They see him, but they do not feel anything. This means that the level of power of Aizen at that time was far beyond the capacities and the, the feeling that the others could tell. And even then, later in Karakura town, when they are walking on the town, there is a random guy that pops up and basically is blow up just for being close to Aizen. And then I think that Aizen says something like that people with lower Reiatsu, or only a small portion of spiritual awareness, are unable to withstand his Reiatsu, his power. And I think this is also the situation that could be applied here. If these random Shinigamis say that they are not able to feel the Reiatsu of Zaraki, I think this means that the level of Zaraki, the power level of Zaraki, at this point surpassed clearly the capacities and the understanding of other Shinigamis. Probably this will make Zaraki at this point in Soul Society one of the foremost strongest Shinigamis that are still fighting. Uh, the others being Renji, Rukia, Byakuya, and Kyoraku. Um, we don't know the others like Yukitake, but for now, in the story, in the moment of the story, and in the moment where the Shinigamis are fighting, the four stronger in camp at this point are Rukia, Renji, Byakuya, and Zaraki. So, and this is very interesting, but is also interesting because of other situation. If this is the fact that the Reiatsu of Zaraki or the level of power of Zaraki is off the scale at this point, and if this guy Grammy, the Stern Ritter V, can withstand to be in the presence of Zaraki and fight against Zaraki in this stage, it also implies that the power of this guy is also pretty high. So this is the first aspect that is interesting. The second aspect that is more important or more interesting in this chapter is near the end of the chapter, when we have exchange of words between Grammy and Zaraki, where Grammy says, because Zaraki goes to attacking Grammy again after being able to free himself from the trap, and he looks back and he sees Yashiro, and he basically yells to her that she need to go away. And then this guy Grammy says that this is not possible because he has turning her bones into cookies, and she cannot move because if she moves, she will die. Zaraki goes straight to the attack, and during the attack, Zaraki kinda says one thing very interesting at the end of the chapter that I think means the way that Zaraki will defeat this guy, and also says that Zaraki already kinda understood how the power of this guy work, because after this attack, Zaraki says something to this guy. So you are very worried about me. You are so worried that you have forgotten about Yashiro, and he links this that basically it appears that now Yashiro can move again, so she is back to normal. So what this means? This means that the ability of this guy, even if he is very OP or very powerful, it appears that can only work in a person at the time, or in a situation at the time. So the handicap of this guy basically apparently is that he can only use this ability in one situation that he is confronted of. And if that's the situation, Zaraki basically forced him to focus on the fight against him, and in that situation he kinda free Yashiro from the control, in a way, of this guy. So that is very interesting and could be the way how this guy will die, because if he can only use his ability in one type of situation, this means that That's his handicap. And so this is interesting. I don't know if this is actually how the situation plays, but it's very interesting, and we should have this kind of information present in the future of this match. So, and basically, the chapter basically, besides these two aspects that I do refer, basically it's the fighting and the first blows between Grammy and Zaraki, and Grammy attacking Zaraki, kinda destroying Grammy's attacks and counter-attacking and such. So it's a fighting chapter. So not much can be said about it. We can speculate even a little bit about Grammy Power, but basically it's plainly that basically everything that these guys imagines comes to fruition. However, comes to fruition in only in a type of situation, a situation where he needs to be focused on that situation and not on the overall around him. So that could be also, and most likely that will be the downfall of this guy. Uh, and as for the next chapter, I think the fight between Zaraki and Grammy will continue. Maybe we will give we will get more hints about Grammy's powers and what are his limits. And I guess that it's possible that this guy did go full standing against Zaraki, and we will have to see if Zaraki does call out his Impacto or not. So I'm looking forward to it. So this is it. This is my review for Bleach 574. Hope you enjoy, stay well, peace, and see you soon.